If I'm him right now, if I'm in Will Levis's shoes, I don't know what emotion I would use to describe it, but I think this is the best way to describe it. He's in a terrible position. You could see a legit case and scenario where Will Levis's career ends before it even starts. One of the more interesting things we've covered on this channel throughout the entire offseason is the quarterback situation that's been going on with the Tennessee Titans. And no. I'm not talking about the starting quarterback situation. I'm talking about the backup quarterback situation, or shall I say battle. And also, I would go as far as saying it's been one of the more interesting topics in the NFL as well. Because for those of y'all that don't know this, I'm sure most of you do, but the Tennessee Titans, they picked Will Levis, the quarterback from Kentucky, with the first pick in the second round. And we all know the backstory behind Will Levis. Not going to speak on that too much because I've already made 10 other videos talking about it. Y'all know how I feel about Will Levis. I've been extremely low on him. Been trying to tell people the past 3 years he's not that guy and he's not really that good. Also was trying to tell people last year I don't know why anybody thinks he's going to be a top 10 pick, because that won't happen. And well, fast forward in time, yeah, we know what happened. I don't want to get into that too much. The reason I brought it up though is because when the Titans selected him, everybody's like, well, wait a minute. A couple years ago, they selected Malik Willis, so what's going to happen to him? Because remember, Malik Willis was a kid who was in a similar situation as Will Levis. Before the NFL draft, you had all these people hyping him up, saying, hey, he could potentially be a first-round pick, and same situation, he fell in the draft. And ironically enough, and some of y'all are going to remember this, years ago, I stated that Malik Willis will not be a first-round pick, and he's going to fall in the draft, and it happened. We do this every single year. The media selects, it feels like just randomly 2 or 3 quarterbacks that they're going to overhype up until the draft. It was a similar situation with Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, and I can go on and on. And I remember talking about this years ago. I even told people, I think Mac Jones, he should be selected by the 49ers. That would be the best pickup. Never understood for a second why anyone would take Trey Lance, not just in the top 10, but the first round. He played at North Dakota State for 1 year. But I digress. And what's so funny about it is everybody's saying, oh, it'd be dumb for the 49ers to take Mac Jones. Like, what? Mac Jones was one of the best quarterbacks Alabama's ever had. Mac Jones led the NCAA in completion percentage. He completed 78% of his passes. A lot of people aren't even ready for this conversation, but that year Mac Jones had in 2020, it was similar as Joe Burrow's year in 2019. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying Mac Jones is better than Joe Burrow. I'm not saying that, but look at the numbers. Mac Jones is a lot better than what most people want to give him credit for, and y'all ain't ready for that conversation. We're getting a little sidetracked here. We'll talk about that in a different video. Let's lock back in. Let's talk about Malik Willis and what's going on with Will Levis. We've reported on this all throughout the offseason, and the latest, what happened actually, now that I think about it, what was the last update on this situation? I believe the last time we spoke about this had to be 6 to 8 weeks ago, maybe even 10 weeks ago, and that was that Malik Willis was outperforming Will Levis. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where we left off. I could be wrong on that. But anyways, it's really besides the point because we're here to talk about what's happened in the past couple of weeks and what happened last night. Well, to give you some perspective, this QB2 battle with Will Levis and Malik Willis, it's the battle of the mid. That is the perfect way to describe this. The battle of the mid. Nobody's looked really too good and nobody's taken the job. And for that reason alone, that's why this quarterback job is still ongoing currently. Neither Will Levis or Malik Willis has looked phenomenal where you're like, oh yeah, that's our backup quarterback. And last night, guess what? The Titans played and many people anticipated, I'll show you a tweet right here where somebody tweeted out 2 days ago, tomorrow Will Levis secures QB2. And little did this person know, and a lot of people know, that Will Levis, he wasn't even going to play in the game. He is still battling some minor injuries, nothing major. He'll get over it. And since Levis and Tannehill, they didn't play in the game, you know who did? Willis. I watched this game from start to finish, and I'm just going to throw this out there now before I even show you his numbers. Yes, he did have 2 interceptions, and yes, they were awful decisions. Shouldn't have thrown the balls, not too sure why I did, but you live and you learn. Let's get the negative out of the way. Outside of that, if you can look past the interceptions, Willis was dang good. 15 for 20, he'll take that. That's about what, 75% completion percentage? 211 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. You see right here the terrible 2 INTs, which I already addressed. He did have 2 sacks, but a rating of over 100. I know everybody's going to bring up the interceptions, but throw the interceptions out the window. Look, in the preseason, what I am looking for is to see if these quarterbacks and to see if Malik Willis has improved or gotten slightly better, and I think he has. And am I going to sit up here and overreact and say he's drastically improved? No, I'm not, because I don't believe that. But here's what I will say. What I've seen up until this point in this preseason with Malik Willis, It is far superior than what I saw last year in the regular season. Y'all saw it happen against the Kansas City Chiefs. Y'all saw what happened when Willis played last year. It was awful. And me calling it awful might be understating it. It was rough. But hey, remember, he was a young guy thrown into a terrible position, really, and he had no wide receivers. Y'all know me, I don't sugarcoat crap. I'm not excusing his play, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. What I'm looking for Malik Willis, and I think the Titans organization, coaching staff, and fan base is looking for this as well, is improvement. And heading into last night's game, I'd say there's a lot of pressure on him because if he plays good, he'd probably lock up that QB2 spot. But if he'd have played bad, he might have lost it. And remember, this was months and months ago. There were rumors and speculation going on that Malik Willis might be cut by the Titans if he doesn't get that QB2 spot. The NFL is a cutthroat business. You draft a guy later in the second, third round, and he's not even QB2. Why would you keep him? I understand it. Because we all know this. Even if Levis played awful in the preseason, they're not going to cut him. They just drafted him. They obviously somewhat believe in him and want to give him a slight chance. But with Willis, he's been there a little while, so if they're going to cut anybody, it'd be him. And I'll show you these numbers again, and if you watch the game, I think a lot of people would back me up on this statement. I thought Willis played pretty good. Yet again, I'm going to emphasize this, interceptions, they were bad. But outside of that, if you look at his play, you look at the throws he was making, dude was on our level. Is he on an NFL starter level? No, I wouldn't give him that much. But compared to where this guy was at last year, he looks like a different football player. He looks like a different quarterback. He looks confident. He looks comfortable. If I had a greatest performance last night against the Patriots, I'm going to give him a B-. I saw a lot of great things, but there's still a lot he needs to improve on. I think B-, that's fair. With all that being said, you probably know where I'm about to go with this next statement. It's looking like and it appears like Malik Willis has locked up quarterback 2. Even heading into that preseason game, the speculation around that Titans football team is that Will Levis, he's QB3 and Willis is QB2. And after last night's game, I don't think that's going to change a single bit. If anything, it solidified it. And to be honest, I think that's how it should be. Ryan Tannehill's QB1. He's the old veteran. He's your best option right now. Let's be honest. Is Ryan Tannehill ever going to lead a team to a championship? No. But for the Titans, best available option. It is what it is. You just want him to groom some of these other guys. And after that, I would say, yeah, let's put Willis in at 2 and let's put Levis in at number 3. And I was scrolling on Twitter yesterday, seeing what Titans fans were saying, and I really like this comment. This Titans fan said, I don't care if it's him, referring to Will Levis, or Malik Willis, someone needs to step up. And it goes back to this. Neither Will Levis or Malik Willis has really done a lot to win the job. Outside of last night's performance by Willis, both of these guys, they've been mid. But here's where things really get interesting, at least for myself. I have never seen a situation quite like this where a quarterback who just got selected early in the second round is in a terrible spot like this. Will Levis, the first pick in the second round draft, is going to be heading into the season as the third string quarterback. Not the starter, not even the backup, but the third string. Think about that. I've never seen that happen before. And wait a minute. I know some people are going to say, well, Matt, Trey Lance, he was a third string quarterback for the 49ers right before they traded him to the Cowboys. And yes, you're right, but this year wouldn't be his rookie season. This upcoming year for Will Levis is his rookie year. He just got drafted with a pretty high draft pick, and he's a third string quarterback. And remember, I'm not high on him, but I'm going to remind you, there's a lot of people who think this guy can be special one day. Well, here's my question to all these believers in Will Levis. How is he going to be special when he's not even the backup quarterback? When will he ever get an opportunity? Because think about it. The next guy up is Malik Willis. Do you know how many bad things would have to happen for Will Levis to even play in this up-and-coming season? The chances of Malik Willis even see playing time is slim to none. I don't even know what the chances are for Will Levis at this point. And I feel bad for him because I do think he at least deserves a shot somewhere, at least an opportunity. If I'm him right now, if I'm in Will Levis's shoes, I don't know what emotion I would use to describe it, but he's just not in a good place, and we'll leave it at that. I think this is the best way to describe it. He's in a terrible position. You at least, at bare minimum, want to be the backup. For example, I'm sure Zach Wilson, of course, he's not a fan of what's going on. Aaron Rodgers, he's going to be the new star player, but at least Zach Wilson's going to get some reps as the backup. He's going to learn. Well, Will Levis, he ain't even going to do that. And Ryan Tannehill, he's not retiring anytime soon, and I don't think the Titans are going to give up on Malik Willis anytime soon. They're high on him as well. I hate to say this, but it's a cold hard fact. You could see a legit case and scenario where Will Levis's career ends before it even starts. This could be one of those situations where he stays with the Titans for 2 to 3 years before that rookie deal's up. He never plays, and eventually they trade him somewhere to some no-name team, and he'll get 1, maybe 2 starts, and if he doesn't do good, that's it. He'll just be a third string or backup quarterback the rest of his career. And that's the dark side about the NFL and being a quarterback. A lot of people don't even talk about this, but everybody thinks it's so easy to be a Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. No. What Will Levis is currently going through, that's how it is for most quarterbacks in the NFL. You're not going to get a lot of opportunities. Heck, some quarterbacks don't even get 1 opportunity. As much as I don't believe in Will Levis, I at least hope he gets a shot somewhere. And right now, it doesn't even look like he's going to get a shot with the Titans. It's a very weird situation, very weird. I am curious, though, to see how it plays out. Let me know your thoughts down below. But,